something to say, there's something to say.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Our House 21 and we are in the home stretch. So this is, part 3 of my local bearings, ceramic bearing swap video. So in the previous videos, I've, taken apart the main part of the car. Actually, is this part 3 or is this part 4? Wow, it's all just coming together or something. But anyway, this is, in this next installment, I'm going to go ahead and do the rear clip of the Traxxas XO-1, upgrading it to Boca ceramic orange seal bearings right here. So this should be a substantial upgrade from the stock bearings. I've already benchmarked stock bearings on this car. They didn't do too badly, but I've done this a few times already with the Bocas, and the Bocas have outperformed stock hands down for the Rustler and for the Slash 4x4. So I have no reason to think that the orange seal bearings won't just obliterate the stock bearings and performance. But we will see. It's for the data to prove it. So, all right. So the rear clip is actually not that bad on this car. So let's just go ahead and dive right on it. Now, let me go ahead and take off the tires first. So compared to the front of the car, the rear is actually much simpler. So, and I'm just taking off the tires. So in the rear of the car, you pretty much just have 2 wheel bearings on either side, an inner and an outer. Then you have 2 bearings on either side of the differential. And then you have one more bearing that supports the differential shaft, the differential input shaft. And that's pretty much it. So 5 bearings. So I'm going to try to make this quick, or relatively quick at all. So this time I'm going to be doing the 2 sides in parallel. So let's go ahead and get this guy off. Wow, this one's pretty snug. There we go. Take that nice retaining pin out of there. Do the other side. There we go. Okay, that's easy. All right, get that out of there. So now, I'm just going to use the adjustable wrench method here just to make things a little quicker. One with the Allen wrench. And okay, that was entirely too easy. Oh, and the reason why it was too easy is because there's no pin in here to hold this in place. All right, let's try that again. Okay, it was still easy. All right, so this wasn't torqued down very much, which is a bad thing because these little guys are not cheap, and I don't want to have to pay to replace a little pin that I don't need to. Okay, so again, repeating for this side. Helps if I do it the right direction. Okay. Alright, that's easy. Yeah, so apparently these rears weren't snugged down very tight. Alright. Bam. So I've got retaining pins here and those retainer hubs there. These should both just pop right off now. It's being a little bit stubborn, so I'm gonna coax it out here. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that I have not had to use my needle nose pliers for anything yet. Now, of course, the fact that I just said that means I'm probably going to have to use my needle nose pliers for something soon. Okay. Alright, so, got a little issue here. This guy's not wanting to come out. And aluminum is a very soft metal, so I don't really want to get in here and really pry it out. So, let's see. There we go. Be very, very careful if you try to do that, because you could very easily inadvertently put too much power in and just rip that out. Oh, this is interesting. That's a different bearing. Somebody's been back here. Yeah. I don't know what bearings those are. Okay. So, alright, so what I'm going to do here, next up, I'm going to take that off. That's actually holding on the rear bumper. So actually I'm going to take these two screws off and then those two screws. So these are 2.5 millimeter once again. And it helps if you actually use the 2.5 millimeter bit. Torque. All right. Okay. Bam, bam. Now those two are twos again. And pop up, this all comes off, and pop out, that comes right out. Okay, so I'm just going to set these two pieces aside. Alright, so now I have this one screw here that's holding on the pins, and it's holding the differential to the lower bulkhead here. There we go. Set all this over here together. There we go. Now this guy comes off. And again, for you guys that are familiar with the Slash 4x4, this should feel, you should feel right at home on this. Alright. So now, I think I will use my needle nose pliers. And just be careful with these. You don't need to use a whole lot of force to pull these things out. There we go. And maybe get a little bit of a twist right there. It helps to free them up so they slide out better. Don't know my own strength. There we go. Alright. So again, just like before, you've got two screws buried down in there that hold the lower bulkhead to that. Those are 2 millimeters. and they don't really fit with the extension. So it's easier just to do these by hand. Now these are long ones. Okay, I think that's enough. Yeah. Actually, I take that back. I think that would fit all the way down there. Okay. So now this comes right off. And you can see inside of here, this one does have a little bit of grease in it, but not a whole lot. So I'm going to wipe this out and re-grease it, since I'm here. All right, but first things first, let's go ahead and get these dry with these bearings here. So, same as before, being very careful. Go ahead and wrestle this out. And these are the same on both sides, the inner and outer. So I'm just going to use one of these pens this time and just kind of poke it through and get the outer out. There we go. Now I do the inner. And of course this one doesn't want to come out. Okay, let me try this. There we go. All right. So again, like I was saying, these are different. I'm not sure what these are. I mean, these, let's do a little compare and contrast here. I mean, say these, that looks kind of orangey red to me. It does not look exactly the same as this, but it looks really, well, that's not the same. But I mean, I think that somebody obviously put in upgraded bearings on the rear. Why they will only put upgraded bearings on the rear, I don't know. So just to keep everything straight, I'm going to take the rest of these orange seals out of this package so I don't accidentally confuse a new orange seal with one of these random ones. Now I want to put these two that I just got out of here into here. Clean this off first. I mean, again, just holding it side by side. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what these are. One of these things is not like the other, though. All right, so we have established that someone tried to do something special to the rear end of this car. I don't know what that really means, but I'm just going to take a little bit of grease, just like before, and run the grease around the race here. That's going to help keep these from seizing. Now, a thing to keep in mind, the older versions of the XO-1 are not waterproof. So you really should not have an issue with an XO-1, getting corrosion due to moisture. I say shouldn't, but all sorts of weird things happen in life. But one thing but I say the older versions specifically, because I was talking to the guys at Traxxas, and apparently the newer version of, apparently there's a new version of the XO-1 coming out, and honestly, it may not even be marketed as a new version, but they're doing a design revision. So The XO-1, or I should say the original XO-1s, all came with Mamba Monster ESCs. And they were called Mamba Monster Extremes because they had a built-in cab pack, but they're basically just Mamba Monsters. And that's not a bad thing because those are good ESCs. However, the newer ones are going to have MXL6 ESCs, which are basically Mamba Monster 2s, which is what I'm using in Slade, my Rustler, and in Dizzy, my slash 4x4, aka Rally. And it's a great ESC as well. But I mentioned that because it's also waterproof. And the XO-1's already got a waterproof servo box, sorry, a waterproof receiver box, and a waterproof servo. So that's essentially going to make the XO-1 a waterproof car now. Now, you could imagine why that would be a really, really bad idea, because you have a car that comes on stock on tires that are slicks, so they have no rain channels or anything. And that's special. This, whatever. Okay, so this pin sheared off. So hopefully I have another pin in my collection that I can use. So I'm going to have to push this thing through. See, sometimes you just never know what you're going to find when you start getting into something. Okay, so this is lovely. Okay, but finishing my thought, the XO-1 is going to be waterproof now. So I'm sure there's going to be some guy out there who's going to be taking his XO-1 and trying to wet weather bash with it. Now, if you do what I did and you put some tires that actually have some grooves on them, you know, it actually might not be a bad thing a bad car to run in the rain. But high power cars in general and rain don't mix unless you just like to get out there, bash around and drift and that kind of stuff. And there's a place for that in this universe. I don't begrudge it at all. I actually think it might be kind of fun. But, you know, you just gotta have to know what you're doing and know what you're getting yourself into. All right, so because this pin is kind of pushed through and fused here, I think I'm gonna have to use a little bit of force. So let's see, I don't happen to have a hammer at hand close by, but I do have a rivet gun. All right, so I'm just going to give this some taps and try to get that pin to come through. Okay, I'm curious. I'm going to see what happens. Okay, it looks like the threads actually sheared off this stupid thing. In which case I may be dead in the water. Got it. Thank you, Lord. All right, needle nose pliers to the rescue. just enough thread on there where I just want to lock in. All right. Fortunately, I have spares on spares. So that is a pin for a dry shaft. It's the same size as used on the stock / dry shafts. I've got a lot of stock / dry shafts. So let me just go ahead and steal one of my spare pins right now. Here we go. I'll take this one right here out of this yoke. Okay. So this just kind of proves a point. No matter how smoothly things go, or seem to be going, things can go downhill really fast. So it's always a good idea to have extras, to have spares, or to, at the very least, be a little bit creative and devious so that you can try to figure out ways around things in case you have an issue. All right, so now that we've gotten that little crisis out of the way, let's get back to this, shall we? So this comes apart, and like I said, the CVD boot came apart here. So I'm gonna have to get a new boot. They sell those. That's not that big a deal. It's annoying that I have to replace it, because that means I'm gonna have to go and open this thing all the way apart again, and work this thing on. But like I said, in the universe of problems, this isn't that bad. So now, since I have this undone, I can just pull it right out. If it wants to come out. There we go. So again, these are the same red bearings that I don't know where they came from or what they are. But again, just compare and contrast. They are not the same. Maybe they're look-alike, I don't know. But, and pop this in here. And we can pop out that guy too. There it is. Okay. And again, just making sure I get a little bit of lube on the outside of these guys. Try to stop them from seizing up. Okay. And we'll look up here. Okay. And back inside. So, all right. So let's get back in here. So I need to flip this over. And I could take this guy apart just like I did the last one. So where's my 2mm bit? There we go. And okay. I'm gonna put these down here. That was almost bad. Okay, I think I started saying this before, but I don't know if I finished the thought. But when you buy yourself a new car, it's a good idea to get yourself a screw kit. And you can get a screw kit for most cars online for a few bucks. Because basically, there's a lot of companies out there, guys on eBay, what have you, that part out cars. And they usually end up having large assemblies or collections of parts that are available. And they're things that you can't necessarily buy directly from the manufacturers. So Dollar Hobbies, you know, they have screw kits for most major cars or most popular cars. But then you also have like other random retailers on eBay that do the same thing. So you can hunt around a little bit, get yourself a good price. But it's a good idea to have extra screw kits because you never know when you're going to lose something and you're going to need to have a replacement pin like that right there, you know. So it just makes life easier. So if you look right here, here's the differential. And this is the same layout as the front. They're actually identical to the front, except for the fact that the rears are filled with either 10,000 or 30,000 weight oil. And the fronts are filled with, I believe, 100,000 weight oil. Ooh, that guy's dirty. But it's still smooth. A little dirt never hurt anybody. Okay, so that's much better. Okay, and this should just come right off. Yep, right there. And this is the same setup as front. So you've got an 8x16x5, and you've got an 8x14x4. You know, so we go over to the kit. Same things. So go ahead and grab these guys out. Get one of those. Pop that back in. And now you also have an 8x14x5 buried back there too. So these are the last two bearings. Those last two. Actually, hold on. Okay, so that guy is actually here. So let's go ahead and get that out. I can pop that guy out just by pushing it through from the back with my finger. It's nice and well lubed at least. Okay. And this is another one of 12x18x4s. Okay, so put this here in this kit. Yep. So this drops in right here in the rear diff housing. Just like that. This guy drops right on. Just like that. So he's good to go. Just need to press it in all the way. There it is. All right. So these go right back on here. This one. And this one. Now, I'm getting a little worried now because I have a leftover bearing. And I'm wondering, did I forget to change out one of the bearings in the front, which I don't think I would have done. However, you know, no one is perfect and infallible. So I need to go in and re-inspect the fronts just to make sure that everything's good. But let me go ahead and put this one aside. Alright. Okay. So these guys, just make sure I have a little grease on the outside. And you don't have to worry about these getting seized or anything, but it's just a good practice. And we put grease around the gear, just like before, around the ring gear. Alright, that's good. And right there. And just run it through. And this just make sure there's grease all up in the nooks and crannies. I think that's good. And I'll just go ahead and put a little bit more on it, just to be extra safe. Like I said before, Boca makes the grease. There's lots of different brands out there. You know, you don't have to be looking for a secret magic sauce here. Just talking about grease. Just want to make sure it's lubricated. Any lubricant is better than no lubricant. Now when you get into the universe of lubricants, there are some that are better than others, but all of them are better than nothing. So put this back in place. Right. All right. Again, just hand tightening, just to make sure it's good. Okay. That's good. All right. It's pretty straightforward. Now we can drop this back one here. Well, actually, first do back up the drive shafts. Well, actually, first things first. Do this back up. Get this in line. Drop this pin in. Big retaining pin here. Okay, there we go. Tighten this bad boy down. Okay. Now this. Let's go ahead and get these pins on. Like I said, these just go back in together. The pins on the assemblies. And there it is. Thought I lost a pin for a moment. Like I said before, Traxxas was kind of clever when they made this. They just have these guys float. So now this can go here, just pop into place, and this retainer goes on just like this. And now single screw goes in the middle, pulls it all together. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Okay, now I need the two from the bottom to hold it in place. Actually, these are little guys, not the big guys. It does fit. All right, here and here. All right, now I can use these pins. Need the 1.5 millimeter here. And that one doesn't have any Loctite on it. So I'm just gonna dab. Always a good idea to have some blue Loctite on hand when you're doing RC parts. Because these parts have a tendency to walk out on you. So just a little dab, that's all you need. And for those who don't know, there's two types of Loctite. There's blue, there we go. There's blue and there's red. Blue Loctite is removable, so that's fairly easy to get out. Red Loctite is like super glue. When you put red Loctite on something, you pretty much are saying that you don't have any intention of getting it off again. Now you can get red Loctite off, but it's a pain. So you just, for convenience sake, or for sanity's sake, more precisely, you don't use red Loctite unless you really intend to use red Loctite. If you think you might have to get it apart at some point in the foreseeable future, use the blue stuff. Okay, and let's get this. So, all things considered, this rear end actually wasn't too bad, even though I had the mystery bearings and I had that broken pin. There we go. All right, so, all right, everything looks good here. So now I get to put these retainer hubs back on real quickly. So I get started by hand and then the last little bit of cinching with the adjustable wrench. Okay, that's good. Next side. Or I should say nice and snug. All right, so now, just the opposite of how we did it before. First, let me just brush this off. Like I said, you don't know when you're going to be back in these pieces, so it only takes you a second. All right. This right in here. Okay. at this point, this is just held in with this and this. So the two button head screws hold on the back to the body towards the diffuser, and then these two hold that to the front. So this 2mm and 2.5. So I'll get these first. Again, this is plastic into plastic, so you don't want to over tighten it. Just snug. Alright. Now double check it with the hand tightening. Here we go. And of course I put on the wrong one. Let's try that again. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Alright, so now get this guy and this guy, and these are again 2.5s. Alright, and check it as snug. Bam. Alright, good. Alright, so we are all set. And just checking. Yep, the differential is functioning. So everything's good here. Alright, so I'm going to end it right now. And we'll pick it up in just a few moments to do the whole reassembly process. So, oh, actually, let me go ahead and just put the tires back on. Only take a second. So, bam. So I've actually got some feedback from guys asking, well, I posted on Facebook and Instagram about these little tires, and people have been pretty interested in them because apparently there aren't a whole lot of options for non-stock XO-1 tires. So if any of you guys have any options or know of anything, feel free to post in the comments or send me a message or something. I mean, I may do a video about that. Just if you want to have other tire options for the XO-1, what do you do? Actually, I find that this is it's an interesting platform. All right. So this is all together. So I'll be chiming in again in just a minute to go ahead and do the full reassembly process, which should only take a few minutes. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And always, remember the mantra, fly, fix, fly, break it, fix it, and do it all over again. Remember to check me out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other outlets out there. And always, like I said, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is OurHouse21 signing out. And just stay tuned for, in a couple minutes, and I'll post back in. I'll jump back into the final reassembly. All right, OurHouse21 signing out. Peace.